I don't know.
Yeah.
I think what I've struggled with is I've always done what everyone else is doing.
Right.
And I think that's, we've talked about this I feel like that's what society does. We kind of just wait for someone else to make the decision, and we're like, oh, well, that's what I want.
Right.
I want what that person has. Welcome in to another episode of The Poolman Show. Unfortunately, we don't have George with us today. Filling in for George is PIERSON Faudet, good friend of mine. Welcome into the show.
Why, thank you. Thank
and
you
we
for
just
letting me
talked
co-host.
about, I wore a hat as a courtesy to PIERSON because he's wearing a hat. Tell the people why you're wearing a hat.
Well, I'm wearing a hat because I'm wearing an EEG machine.
And what does that stand for? Electroengineering?
Electroengineering genetical research. It's electroessence I don't even know what that means.
Why?
Exactly.
What's wrong with you?
So let's talk about it really quick. I actually haven't talked about this in public yet.
Really?
This is interesting. Yeah.
Because I saw you posted on Instagram and you're like, hey guys, I've been out with a brain injury, which is pretty severe.
Completely. Yeah. So I think it was like the beginning of May, June, July. Yeah, a little bit before the beginning of May. End of April, I had this sinus infection. So I went into the urgent care and I talked to them and they're like, we should put you on an antibiotic. And I was like, cool, great. Whatever the strongest one you got is, let's go for it. And they're like, clindamycin. I was like, I'm allergic to penicillin. I think that's a strain of that. And they're like, well, this is fine. You should be fine. If you have any symptoms, give us a call. So I get on it, and 3 days into it, I start having these like kind of dizzy spells, and I feel really lethargic, and I just feel weird. I can't remember, I can't retain information anymore. So I call them up, and I'm like, hey, I'm having these symptoms. And they're like, you're fine. We don't want to build up an antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Stay on it, finish out this cycle. So I stay on it, and within 4 days more of finishing the cycle, I start having blackouts after blackout after blackout, and I end up on the floor, and I can't stand up, and I don't know what's going on, and I can't remember information at all.
Jesus.
So like you and I would be having a conversation, right? Like we're talking right now. And within, in between 30 seconds to 5 minutes, my brain would reset. And it was like, I can't remember what's going on. I don't know where I am. I don't know what we're talking about. And I'd be super confused about why you were in front of me. And the best way I can describe it is like, it's like Memento had a evil stepchild with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And so
an analogy I don't understand.
So
that's the best way you can describe it.
Perfect. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is like all about this gonzo journalist, I forget his name, but amazing. Johnny Depp plays him, and he's like high all the time. Is constantly hallucinating.
Got it.
Nonstop.
So you felt like you're on some drugs or something.
Exactly. Reality had pretty much stopped being real to me. I would look in the mirror and stare at myself. I didn't recognize a person that was staring back at me. Right. And then the Memento side of it was that I was just constantly recycling through this reset mode. And then the other side of it is it's called post-antibiotic delirium, which is, it affects like 0.01% of the population. But it resembles kind of like an Alzheimer's and dementia, and just the cycle is going to take however long the cycle takes for it to leave your system. So you're just forgetting everything. You don't know what's going on. And you're having seizures and blackouts, and all these things are happening. And the doctor was like, look, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to tell you exactly outside of monitor it, make sure it doesn't get worse. And so I lived in this period of my life for like 2 months. It was just insane. Like it's so hard to describe.
So what is it now? Why do you have this EEG on?
Well, number one, because I wanted to look like the poor man's avatar. Look at that shit.
It's like a huge giant cocksock.
Yeah, it's a cocksock for the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look like the C-list movie of a Smurf.
Yeah.
Or like the really poor man's avatar, like maybe a bad wankster. You know what I mean? Like just terrible.
So why, you told me you had to wear like a Hawaiian shirt. That's why I threw one on. Why do you have to do that? What's it? It looks like something's attached to your heart.
Yeah, so I have a series of electrodes connected to my head, so it's a non-invasive way of monitoring my brainwaves. And then they all come down here, boom, meet right here in this little package. And then on the side of my body, right here, we've got this little baggie that stores all the information. And so anytime like I have a blackout or a seizure now, I click the button and it records it. Oh shoot, I have a box that has a video recording system on it that's in there. But since we're recording video right here, if I black out or have a seizure while we're doing this.
How do you know if you have a blackout?
I'll black out. Like I'll just.
But how do you know to record it if you're blacked out?
Oh, it's afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll end up on the floor and I'll just be like, hey.
So you can end on the floor at any moment in this podcast.
100%. Clickbait.
I'm a little bit scared about that. You know what else I'm scared about? Now that we got that all serious talk out of the way.
Right.
This old man's challenge. I feel like this should be a new game where you scroll on Instagram and you take a shot for every single person that's done the old man's challenge.
Right.
And I'm gonna test it out right here. I'll screen record and I'll throw it up on the screen for you guys listening. Let's see how many people in 20 scrolls we find. So we're 0 for 1. Nope. Oh, there's 1. Keep going. We're scrolling. Up, there's 2.
Dude, I'm at
hot
10.
Girls. There's 3.
I'm at
4,
10 right now.
5.
There you go.
We're counting them up now. Hot girls. Damn, I follow a lot of hot girls. Whoops. Okay. All right. No, it's just all right. So you see 95 hot girls, and then you got 5 or 6 old people. Wow, I'm just getting lost on the hot girls. Anyways, oh, there's yours.
That's me. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like me as an old man.
Yeah, you look pretty good, man.
I like the silver
you
fox
aged
look.
Well,
thank you.
You know what's going on? What's crazy? So Pearson the other day, he's like, "Yo, have you seen this Bob Lazar documentary?" And I was
so
like,
good.
"No, I haven't seen it." And I watched it last night, and I fell asleep while watching it, so I just finished it up. And we want to get into this. We want to dive into this Area 51 talk because there's a Facebook group that was started. I guess over a million people have signed up to storm Area 51 to see the damn aliens or something like that.
What is the taglines? They can't stop us all.
Yeah, they can't stop us all, and they want to run like what's the ninja or that ninja run?
Oh crap! What's it called?
I don't know what it's called. It's like some cartoon ninja run.
It's the Challenger Games, but for aliens.
Do you think people are actually going to show up at Area 51, or you think it's a joke?
Dude, I'm 100% showing up. I'm not gonna like run in. I'm gonna watch everybody else do it.
I don't think it's a good idea to run in.
No, I mean like the military released some warnings. They were like, on top of the fact that we don't have aliens, which you do, military. Yeah. Come on, give us those fucking aliens. Is that they were like, this is also like a military training ground. We have bombs and nuclear activity. There's all kinds of stuff that could really go wrong with people just storming. What is it? 2 million acres of military ground.
But it's the largest. It's like one of the largest acreages for like a training base or something like that. That's what they said in the documentary.
In the U.S. And so that's pretty wild. But
do you think? Because this documentary got my mind thinking, and I've been thinking about this a lot. And it's like one of those things that you think about, and you're like, "Fuck, I'm never gonna know the answer to it."
Right.
So what's the point of even thinking about it? And we've even had talks about it.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that there's life somewhere else out there.
Completely.
Do you?
100%. Okay, so I say that it's a theory. We can't prove it, right? We have the Drake, the Drake equation that contemplates all the possibilities of like what kind of star formation it would have to be to allow life to exist inside of a planetary system. So we have like, 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone. If 10% of those, so 4 million, 40 million,
I don't know.
400 million. Crap, I'm doing. I'm
not
a scientist.
Attached to your head.
I got brain damage. Give me a break. Yeah. I'm going to screw up all the science here. So Drake calculates all the possibilities of life being out there and
Drake,
what it would take.
In from Toronto, the rapper.
Yeah, Drake. Yeah.
God's Plan.
Yeah, that guy.
Wow.
Right.
Did not know that.
He's a scientist.
Who's Drake?
He was a scientist back in, I think it was the 60s or something like that.
Okay.
And then you have the Fermi paradox, which also says that there's extinction level events and what it takes to become a civilization that's either space-bearing, a type 1, type 2, or type 3 civilization. And on top of that, like the possible extinction rates that happen inside of those things. So like humanity as we know it has only been around for like 200,000 years. And in the span of like 14.4 billion years, it's that big, you know?
Yeah.
And like us recording, on cameras and stuff has only been around for like the last 60 years?
Yeah.
Really? Internet's been around for 20, something like that. So the idea of us communicating with these other aliens and species like that is insane. But
do you think it'll ever happen?
I think so. Yeah.
There was a lot of things. If you guys have seen the Bob Lazar documentary, comment down below and let us know what you guys think about it. very interesting because how he
Fascinating.
describes these saucers or whatever, it's like
Right.
technology we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to think, like, what if we think us humans think we're this king all be all species.
Right.
What if there's a species out there on a different planet that's literally thousands of times smarter than us?
Yeah.
And has almost come to our planet. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
They
Or has
observe-
come to our planet.
they came to our planet and observed no intelligent life.
Right. They're
Comparatively
like, these
to
people are
them.
so dumb. Like, they're just building buildings.
Oh my God, that's
Can
so
you imagine?
embarrassing. Well, okay, think about that too. Like, because he's like, imagine if we dropped a nuclear reactor back in like the 1500s, right, or something like that, in the Victorian era, and for all intents and purposes, they would look at it like it was this magnificent thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as they go and inspect it and try to reverse engineer it, people would start dying off from radiation poisoning. But
Right.
they wouldn't know why. And they just start dying. And so they'd say it's cursed. It's got a demon inside of it or something like that. There's something spiritual going on. So to us, it's that same concept of like this crazy civilization has dropped off one of their little instruments with us. And we're just trying to deconstruct something that we have no idea what it's doing yet.
You know what the crazy thing was is they did an interview, and the next day the FBI showed up at his house.
Yo, what'd you think about that?
Their list, dude. Their list. You know what the crazy thing is? I
Right.
had jury duty today, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and the judge is speaking, and he said serious,
Right.
and my phone thought it said Siri, and my phone said, what was that? They're always
In the middle
listening,
of
bro.
the-
in the middle of the whatever introduction, the orientation to jury duty.
Was yours the only one
Which,
that went
by
off?
the way, guys, don't go to jury. Well, you go to jury duty because
Yeah.
it's the law.
Literally.
But it sucks. I sat in a room from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I didn't even get selected, so I just wasted my whole entire day.
Dude, I'm
But
sorry
I
about
served
that.
my country
Yeah, you did.
by sitting there and drinking Starbucks, and I got a cake pop too. That was really good. Shout out Starbucks.
That's real
on that
service, man. You should feel proud of that.
one.
But what'd you think about all of that? Like
The documentary?
The documentary, yeah.
I believe him. Like, why would you lie for 30 years?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is no one else has come out to back him up. Why? Why is no one else willing to say, yes, this happened?
Right.
Also, do you think that the government is right to hide a bunch of shit from us? I think so, to some degree.
Yeah.
But was I talking about it with you where the government's way ahead of us in technology?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
like, basically, they had cell phones way before cell phones were out. They had the
Right.
internet before the internet was out.
Yeah.
What determines the time that they release it to the public, do you think?
I think I don't know. I think one thing would be maybe civil engineering as far as like how quickly we evolve as people outside of the government's realm of releasing information and technology to us. But also I think that the other part of it might be that like, I don't know, they're determining if we're ready for that information. I mean, like think about, I don't know, spy technology. Like the fact that like it's hard for us to process that the government is listening to everything that we're doing all the time. Right? The NSA's got some sort of cable going through all this stuff and it's filtering all the information, tracking down to see what guy's talking about maybe like a bomb threat or like a gun threat or this thing and this da. Yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that thought because I've got brain damage, but you know.
Yeah. You know what's you blacked out.
Blacked out.
You know
I blacked
what's
out.
interesting though? I think things like Amazon
Mhm.
and maybe even Apple. I know I think Amazon, don't they sell
They sell off the information, right?
the information to the government or something like that?
They have to.
Something like that with like Alexas and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Amazon's got like a direct contract that you can.
Yeah, I will
to
not
it.
buy an Alexa because those things just listen. Isn't that creepy?
It's so weird, but like,
There's no privacy anymore.
but you vlog.
But then, yeah, right.
Yeah,
But I don't vlog everything.
True.
And what if we're like the Truman Show? What if
The
we're
Truman
actually
Show.
the Truman Show? What if we're actually a world
Right.
within a world, and we're already being watched by another world?
Dude.
It's possible.
That would be so stressful.
Anything's possible.
Really
It's
is.
2019.
Okay.
What if it's not even 2019?
Also, did history just like start counting backwards at some point and decide like this is when Jesus was born? You know what I
Before
mean?
Christ.
They're like, oh man, it's 83 years till the big one.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why
were
did
like-
that determine what started time? Why was BC?
Right.
So we predated.
Right.
There was no time.
We reverse dated everything.
I think here's my thing. I think the whole world was wiped out at one point and then we've restarted. I
believe
think
that.
it'll happen again. I think it'll all get wiped out and we'll have to restart.
Well, I mean, look at extinction events in general, right? You got the asteroid that wiped out all the dinosaurs and all that shit all the time.
Right.
Constantly, life is like, fuck, we just got going here, man.
This is just one of those conversations that the audience probably thinks we're stoned out of our minds.
Yeah, straight up. No lie, I might be.
But we're not at
But
all.
we're not. We
But
can't even smoke weed.
This conversation's kind of fucked up. Like, the whole thought about extraterrestrial and aliens. You know what else is fucked up? Midsummer movie. Have you guys seen this movie?
Dude,
did you see it?
I didn't see it yet because you told me it was so fucked up, and I was like, I have to be in the right mood.
Here's
for that.
my thing. Here's my question.
Right.
As me wanting to be an actor, am I allowed to say that a movie's fucked up? Like,
yeah.
Yeah? I thought you were allowed
you're allowed to have an opinion.
You're not supposed to critique things because then what if the director doesn't like what you said about the movie?
Yeah, okay, no, that makes sense. But you're allowed to have an opinion.
Right.
There's freedom of
here's the thing.
speech.
The movie was shot really well. It was very cinematic.
Yeah.
It inspired me to shoot something cinematic.
Right.
But the premise of the movie was extremely fucked up. Like,
Give me the premise.
Incest, like cult shit, like killing.
If you could sum it up in one sentence, what would the movie be about?
What would you say, Trisha?
She's asleep.
She's sleeping over there. Justin, what would you say? Sum up that Midsummer movie in one sentence.
It was great.
One person thought it was great. One person.
It was really weird.
But what was it? Was it a cult movie? Like these
it was
people?
a cult movie in Sweden, and basically they just make their own laws that are just so against what our morals are and stuff. Like when you get to 72 years old, you commit suicide because your life is over.
Damn.
And they show it. They show two people jumping off a cliff, smacking, and then the one guy survives, and then they go and kill him. And they show it all happening.
Dude.
Like the whole cult gathers around like it's an amphitheater and looks up and watches them jump off. Like it's totally normal.
No.
And then the one girl, dude, this is I'm going to spoil the whole movie for you because I highly recommend you guys don't watch it. The one girl, I guess, when you become of age to be ready to have a seed planted inside of you, you cooks a meal for the person that you want the seed implanted in with you.
Yeah.
And you cut your pubes and you put it in the food.
Oh.
So that it's like you cast a spell on the person to fall in love with you. That's not even the worst part. So then they give you these psychedelic drugs and hold on. All right. The psychedelic drink.
I just want to talk about, just really quick, let's stop at the pubes. You know when you like get a hair stuck in your food and it's stuck on the back of your tongue? Could you imagine an entire plate of pubes getting stuck on the back of your tongue? Like just the worst. I don't care.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm already mortified.
So then they give him this drink that's psychedelic and shit and makes him trip.
Right.
And then there's 10 to 15 naked old women standing around, and the girl, he opens the door and she's laying ready to have the seed planted naked with 15 other women around her, and then he comes in and he starts hooking up with her.
Right.
And they start
planting the seed. He doesn't hook up.
They start to moan with the girl moaning in unison.
Oh, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Don't watch the movie.
I'm morbidly curious about so many things in life. Now I have to go watch a movie. Like I'm a morbid human being.
It's gonna scar you, bro. It's 2.5 hours long.
It can't scar me worse than what was it, Mandy, the Nicolas Cage movie?
I didn't see that.
It was like 3 hours long, and it was. I couldn't tell you what the story was. It was like watching a really slow car accident.
So that's the thing. Why is that movie able to be made? Because it's extremely fucked up, the premise of it, and like the thought of someone even thinking of these things happening to me,
right,
is sick. Like how do you write that movie? How you're like, you know what? This is what's going to happen. They're going to go to Sweden. Incest, pubes in this, fucking around this cult, like people dying. Like,
yeah. Do you think it was almost like clickbait for the film industry in a way? Like it caused a stir with people, and they were like, this is how we're going to get recognized as filmmakers.
To make something extremely controversial?
Yeah. Do you think?
Maybe.
Because it got you talking.
Maybe I should delete this off my podcast and never bring it up. Now people want to know. Oh, no, it worked.
Because we're talking about it.
Yeah, we talked about this. Pearson and I talked about, creating some type of content to stir up some controversy. Because we talked about so many YouTubers have gone through controversial things that ultimately drew more eyeballs into them, which ultimately heightened their career.
Yeah.
Do you think it kind of goes back to the old PR stunts?
Right.
Where like, oh, seeing two people out in public together.
Right. Britney Spears shaved her head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all done on purpose to create talk, right?
Exactly. They tip off the paparazzi. Somebody comes by and takes a picture, and boom, you've got controversy.
But to what extent is it okay? And how far will people go? Like, do you think Kris Jenner is a mastermind with
She's brilliant.
dramatic things coming up?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my God, this just happened. But it's all strategic.
Very.
Do you think Tristan Thompson cheating on Khloe was strategic?
Man, I wish...
With Jordan?
I wish I knew more about the Kardashians to like really give some insight onto this, but I don't. But what the little bits of clickbait that I've seen pop up on my phone, it sounds like it could be clickbait material. Or they saw, like, maybe Kris saw like the downfall of the relationship coming through, right? And they were like, how are we going to make money off of this?
Right.
Like, it's going to happen. So like, let's let everybody know and let's make, $20 million off of this breakup. That makes sense to me. I would.
That family has so much money. I don't know why people watch. I'm not a TV watcher. I couldn't tell you, but it's
talk about
mind-boggling.
Taking socialite celebrity fame to the next level. Like Kylie Jenner is worth over $1 billion. That's insane.
Right.
Like you.
And she's what, 21 years
she's
old?
21, bro. Bro, we're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
We could have $1 billion empire underneath. Let's change the. What should we do?
But also, that just goes to show you can't do it alone. I wouldn't say, like, I think that article came out that said she's self-made billionaire. She's not a self-made.
Right. She
You
has
have
her
a
whole family doing the same thing.
Yeah, around you. And it's like, Kim was the first blow up.
Yeah.
And then they got the show. It's like you kind of were grown into that. Obviously, I'm not taking any credit away from her. She started her own company. She did all what she did to do. But in a way, to me, she's kind of ruined body image in this day and age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the standard. Is her.
So what do you think then? Because you asked a moral question of like, what is okay as far as controversy goes. So what's the moral line that we have to draw with controversy, and then also what we're willing to do for it? What would that be for you?
Oh man, I don't know. There's so many things. Like you could easily stir up controversy
For sure.
and ruin your career like that. But who's to say it would ruin your career completely?
So what are things that like ruin your career? Like we talked about this.
Racism.
Yeah.
Sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
What else would I say? Obviously, killing someone.
OJ, the prime example, right?
Yeah. Well, he didn't.
Oh well.
He got away with it.
Right. We don't know. Again, I'm not a scientist.
I don't know. Stuff like super, super extreme, I guess.
Yeah. So super extreme stuff where that should be your moral line.
Mm-hmm.
But so then like, let's say like, I don't know, would releasing a sex tape be extreme to you?
I think in 2019, not anymore.
Not anymore.
When Kim Kardashian did it, yeah.
Right.
Because it's like, oh my God, celebrity, sexy. Now it's like, dude, Instagram is porn.
Oh my God. Can we talk about that for a second? Instagram is softcore porn.
Like I talked about this before. You don't get the excitement. Like say you're a teenager and you're like, hey, send me a nude. You don't even have to ask anymore because it's on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
completely. I'm not mad at it, by the way. I'm not mad.
I am because I don't know. I don't like what Instagram's become. I think it sets a bad example for reality. Remember when Instagram used to be just like take a photo and share it with your friends?
Yeah.
Now it's like, how dope is my life to the rest of the world?
Right.
And it's like 80%. I hate, but it's not our. People are posting what people want. You know what I'm saying?
We reinforce it as society.
Yeah, we give it more likes if it has topless. We give it more likes if her ass is out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
what's the guy version of that? Because we talk, usually that refers to like girls, right? Like bikini pics and stuff like that. Amazing. But what's the guy version of that? Dan Bilzerian?
I think, for a minute it was pranks and stuff, but isn't it interesting? Like, as a female on Instagram, all you have to really do is be good looking and take photos.
Yeah.
As a male,
I feel like there's definitely some guys out there they're just
who on
just
Instagram,
bodies.
male wise, is popping based off their looks?
Oh, there's a couple models. Blue, what's his name?
Lucky Blue.
Lucky
yeah, but
Blue.
He's a model.
True, but that's a looks thing, right?
Is there an IG model boy? Name one.
I don't know. Jay Alvarez, is he an IG model boy, or is he?
He got big on YouTube years ago. Do you know any?
You know what? It really.
Trisha, do you know any?
Trisha.
What guy on Instagram has made his
What's-
living off of his butt, his fucking pectorals?
But you know what it refers back to though? We're the audience. We go back and we follow them and we keep liking the pictures.
Instagram is a female-driven app. There's got to be way more girls on Instagram than guys.
You think so?
Oh, 100%. We're gonna look at the stat right
I gotta
now.
look up at the stats. Hold on.
Guy to girl ratio
On Instagram.
on Instagram.
Hey Justin, what do you think about all this? Doesn't matter. I'm
Can't hear
asking
Justin, but he's allowed to put his input.
you, young Justin.
What percentage of
Everybody make a bet.
50.3% are female, while 49.7% are male.
Well, that theory's ruined now, isn't it?
What do you mean?
That's 40.7%.
There's technically more women.
No, but I think again it comes back to what we
60% of people are 18 to 24 years old.
18 to 24.
90% of Instagram users are younger than 35.
Makes sense. I just got my parents on Instagram. We have like a little like group chat that we all send stuff inside of like the family chat. Super cute. But you also can't like send those really funny memes, you know what I mean, to your parents.
Yeah. But let's seriously talk about this.
Which part?
The guy and girl, the different type of content created between guys and girls.
Totally. It's weird, man. I don't know what the algorithm is for that. Cuz guys guys are physically driven, right? So we're automatically going to be like following stuff with butt pics and things like that. We naturally are attracted to physical types of nature, right? And girls are more emotionally driven. I could be speaking way out of line. I don't know. Again, I'm not a scientist.
Hey,
I've got an
we want
EEG
you
and
to say
machine.
something offensive and controversial here.
Yeah, I know, right? But I think that, it goes back to like, what are we as a whole, as an aggregate of people that are on Instagram? What are we reinforcing? And so far, it's butt pics. So that's the low hanging fruit.
But how did we start to reinforce that? It had to be provided to us, right?
Right. Yeah.
How did that trend happen?
Started with one person doing duck lips back in 2013.
Isn't that crazy? It's
It started
evolved
with
from
that.
the duck lip,
Yeah.
and now it's the ass and
Yeah.
the topless.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
now-
just hoping that content shifts in the next year, because
Yeah.
throughout time it has shifted. It went from Vine, it went to Instagram, it went to YouTube vlogs, and
Yeah.
I feel like nothing's really changed in the last year and a half.
Yeah. I
And
wonder
to
what
be
the
honest,
next one
I mean,
is.
we've had, and the reason I like talking to Pearson is because we go into a lot of in-depth conversations about
Right.
like emotions and feelings, and you can't
Yeah.
really. It's hard to find someone that you can talk like that stuff
Right.
about. I've been talking to Pearson about my career and where I'm at right now, and I'm bored. I'm
Yeah.
bored of making the same content for 2 years, and it's like, how do you as a creative shift your focus to something else? How do you start a new trend? How do you keep things exciting when you're doing the same thing every day for 2.5, 3 years?
Let me ask you, I just want to flip that right back on you, because this has been your question. What do you think you do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think what I've struggled with is I've always done what everyone else is doing.
Right.
And I think we've talked about this I feel like that's what society does. We kind of just wait for someone else to make the decision, and we're like, oh, well, that's what I want.
Right.
I want what that person has. And that's kind of what I was doing. It was like, oh, everyone's making skits on Instagram.
Right.
I'm going to make skits. Oh, everyone's vlogging. I'm going to vlog.
Right.
Everyone's podcasting. I'm going to podcast.
What?
Well, I did start the trend of the podcast very early on.
Not
But I
Joe
did
Rogan?
I mean, he's been doing it I didn't even know who Joe Rogan was. I didn't even know what a podcast was. Someone
Yeah.
approached me and they're like, hey, you want to do a podcast?
Right.
I was like, what's a podcast? People listen to those? But it's like, in terms of YouTube content, how do you shift your brand? Because I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. Like,
Yeah.
I struggle to stay excited.
Yeah. I think you know what's weird is I think you're probably at the same stage where maybe a lot of your fans are at the same time, in a lot of ways, because you're aging into a place where you're thinking about new things. You're questioning a lot of things about your life, into adulthood, into manhood, into whatever you want to call it. And it's kind of a paradoxical thing, because you've been doing this one thing your whole career, right? And it's made you money and it's been doing really well. But now you have to, in order to stay fulfilled, you have to change the one thing that you were doing the whole time to make money. But you might not make money if you do the new thing, right? And so, it's tough. I worked in the restaurant industry for a minute, and we started this trend where I lived in a small town in Moses Lake. And it was that the people would come up to the cash register and order their food, and then we would bring it to them once it was ready. But when they first started coming in, they started sitting at the tables that we had set up, and they'd wait for us to come and serve them, and we'd have to go up and be like, hey, we don't come and grab your order at the table. You have to come up to the cash register. And first people would walk out offended, and you're like, oh, okay. But eventually people caught on, and then it became the most popular restaurant in Moses Lake. Michael's Bistro, shout out. What's up? I was the first person to sell something there. It was great. But I think that's kind of an idea, a metaphor of kind of what you have to do in a lot of ways with what you are pursuing is fulfillment, right? Meaningful things, not happiness, but being fulfilled, right? Because happiness comes and goes depending on your day and how much dopamine is in your brain, but being fulfilled with what you're doing. And that's hard to find. So the tougher part of that is, what kind of content do you see yourself doing more long term? And what do you kind of want to start branching away from?
I don't know.
Don't know.
It's something I ask myself every single day.
Yeah.
What were we talking about that you said? Because I'm living alone now, and I spend a lot of time when I'm alone in my thoughts and thinking about what's my purpose in life. Why am I here? Why do I make videos? What did you call that again?
Oh, man.
The other day?
Oh, existential life crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that?
All the time. It's depressing, man.
Yeah,
It's
right?
super depressing.
But it's interesting because my whole entire life, I've never thought about anything I've done. I've just done it.
Right.
I've always been like, do, don't think. And that's what I was doing for the first 3-4 years I was out here. I was waking up, I was making a video. There was no questions asked. That's what I was doing that day.
Right.
I would live completely in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think with, the growth in following, the growth in my bank account, the growth in material things, it really put a lot of pressure on me to, how do I maintain this? How do I keep it at the same level? And it had me thinking, like, what do I need to do to make everybody happy? With all of that came like so much more weight on my shoulders and stress.
Yeah.
And it's like, too, it's all fun when you're growing. And then for me, I plateaued. So it's like, I'm not gaining a new audience, and some of the old audience has fallen off.
Yeah.
So like now I'm 25 and I have to shift with my viewers, right?
Yeah.
They've been viewing me for 2-3 years. How do I grow with them where they're not like, oh, he's obnoxious. Oh, he screams in his vlogs.
Right.
Oh, he adds no value to my life. How do I grow with them while also pulling new people in?
Yeah.
See, these are all things that I think about, guys.
To make you happy, to make himself happy too.
Right.
Yeah.
But you said happiness comes in like finding meaning, or meaning's more. What was it?
Meaning's more important than happiness.
Right.
Fulfillment.
Right.
Because again, happiness is a trend, right? It comes in waves. And there's moments that, like, we're doing this podcast, we're going to feel really good right now. We're having interaction. Everybody's around. It feels fun, right? Afterwards, you have a dopamine and serotonin drop. And so you get maybe a little sadder, more contemplative with life. But being fulfilled, knowing that we're speaking to an audience that is enriching their lives with the things that we're talking about, knowing that we're fulfilled, communicating with each other. And hopefully, there's another level to that, was like, what are we doing for humanity? What are we doing for the future of humanity? And those are aspects of fulfillment that I look for. But I think that's more important for us to find that, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm doing too much thinking.
But okay, so here's a good question, because like there's doers and then there's not doers. What is the phrase that I'm looking
Observers.
for? Observers. There's people that do and there's people that don't, right? And so you were a doer for this huge amount of time, as anybody is that's successful at any level of industry. But there's a level of thinking that you have to start doing too to see how you can level up, right? So do you think it's important that you've become a thinker, or do you think it's more like inhibiting you to think so much?
I think it puts me in my head a lot, and it
Yeah.
makes me second guess a lot of the things that I do. Is this going to resonate well? Is this better than that? Did I title my video the right way? Oh, should I have titled it that
Yeah.
way? Oh, should I have put that as the thumbnail instead? Would it have gotten more views? This photo, would it have gotten more likes if I did this and that? And it's like those things always go through my head, which they didn't used to.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know why.
Interesting. So could you link it back to like, was it this year that all these questions started coming up, or is it something else entirely? Was there a moment that you were like, oh my God, I am straight up questioning everything that I'm doing right now? Or was it like a slow progress?
I don't know. I think it comes down to, I think I've achieved everything I set out to do very quickly, right?
Yeah.
I leveled up in life how I was supposed to level up in life,
Yeah.
you know? Like I went from living in Logan's closet to living in my own room to getting my own penthouse. Then I got a house with all my friends. Now I have a car, I have a motorcycle, I have a big TV. Like
Yeah.
I have all of these things, and it's like there's no next best thing that excites me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I have everything that I want.
You have the material things.
The material things, but they
Right.
obviously don't mean anything. But why do we establish meaning in material things?
Right. Isn't that weird? Like we talk about things like they're important to us, but they always break and like fall apart. And so we have to buy new things. We're just, as like humans, we build better things to buy new things. And we go to work to get new things and buy new things. And then those things fall apart.
We're in a
We go back to
consumer
work.
market.
Yeah. It's
Like
just
everything's
cyclical.
about consumer.
Right.
That's what that's what our day and age is now.
Oh man.
Consumerism.
And yet we're wearing these like very consumeristic, like you got the watermelons on you, you got your sick hold up jeans. I've got my great military pants and pineapples and garbage.
Well, what I've found makes me happy the most is other people being happy, one,
Right.
and hanging out with my friends.
Okay.
I love interacting with people. I hate being alone. I hate living alone.
Mm-hmm.
I like it half the time where I get my shit
Yeah.
done, but then the other half of the time I'm like, oh, fuck, I wish someone was here to hang out with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, too, like I would do nice things for Kylie when I was dating her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that made me happy, like to see like, oh, I could take her to dinner. I could take her here. I could buy her a gift. Like, oh, to see her smile and all that shit.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I've talked about this with you. I have this nice place. and I have no one to share it with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's weird because before Kylie was my first relationship.
Uh-huh.
Before that, I never had a relationship. I never really cared about anyone else but myself, as douchey as that sounds.
No.
You know, I was living my life in LA, having my fun,
Yeah.
working on my career. And then being in a relationship showed a different side of me that I never had before. And now it's weird shifting back to when I first moved out here.
Self-focused.
21-year-old Mark when I'm 25.
Yeah.
Having been through a 2-year relationship.
So maybe you're not supposed to shift back to that though. Maybe
So
that's why
what am I
you're
supposed to do, bro.
No, I don't think you're supposed, if you feel that way, like that was you at 21. We're always evolving. Like, you know, the person I was a week ago is not the same person I am today. Right? If I was the person I was 2 months ago, I'd be sitting on my couch trying to figure out what time and life is all
Right.
about. I couldn't process 5 minutes of information. But you know, I don't think you're supposed to go back. I feel like you've learned something that isn't quantifiable in your relationship with Kylie.
Quietly.
Different.
Shout out
The
Kawhi Leonard, Kylie.
The name that shall not be spoken. But you learned something invaluable there, and now you're supposed to take it with you. But now you've got to go back to this single stage of like, now I'm alone again, and I have to like refocus all my identity on what is it again. So maybe you're not supposed to go back to that. Maybe you're supposed to take all this information and move forward and be like, all right, this is what made me happy and made me feel fulfilled. And then take that into the new side of it, and which is, I guess, vlogging is like the perfect example of that. Is you make people happy, they watch all of your stuff, and at the same time, you're spending time with all of your friends, which is like two great ways to accomplish meaning in your life, right? The next evolution of that might be just telling stories in general. Because you went to school for journalism, right?
Yeah.
How does that like play into all of this?
I don't know, bro. My whole life's been a fucking blur. That's what I'm saying. I don't think. I just do. I just live.
Right.
I don't really think about that stuff.
So what's like, what are the things that keep you up at night? Give me this.
Caffeine. No, I'm just kidding.
Caffeine, Pornhub.
Yeah.
You name it, pal.
I don't know, man. I don't even want to think about that.
Do you have like anxiety when you go to bed about like thinking about tomorrow at all?
Nah.
That's great. That's fantastic.
But I don't know what anxiety is. I've never been taught stuff like that.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? My parents never.
before a big meeting, you don't get like a little bit like
The only time I ever
tense?
get nervous is before I go on an audition.
anxiety. There you go.
That's what anxiety
nervous.
is?
Yeah, it's the
Nervousness?
same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, you can't not have anxiety at some point.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't just sit in bed and I'm like, fuck, tomorrow freaks me out.
Existential life crisis
Yeah.
in the middle of the night.
No, I know at the end of the day, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And I never worry about my life,
Yeah.
going bad.
For sure.
I always know I have people at home, my family, they're there for me and stuff. And it's turned into like a therapy session.
I know, but it's fun though. This is interesting.
You guys are listening to Mark Dohner's brain unravel in real time. But anyways, let's brighten up the mood here. I like to ask people on the Poolman Show. Well, George is the only person that's been on the Poolman Show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's your funniest or favorite high school memory?
I don't.
So I was getting a blowy in the dugout, man, from fucking
Yeah.
from Sarah Swanson. Let me tell you, she loves Swanson.
Oh, Sarah Swanson. I heard about her. She made it from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. Yeah, I heard she's popular.
Sorry if your name's Sarah Swanson.
Sorry, Sarah Swanson. Okay. I'm not going to say his name. We'll call him Johnny. I totally said his name. This is one of my favorites. It was a constant thing with him. He's the most hilarious guy in the school. But we're in theology class one day. I went to a small Christian school. And we're sitting there, and the teacher comes running in and is like, just livid. He's like, Who took a shit in the urinal? And we were like shocked, but he knew it was one of us because like our grade was notorious for being just stupid.
What's that called when you take a shit? Oh, no, the upper deckers in the...
Do you ever have a halo bomb where you lay your legs across the stall and like drop a halo bomb down to the toilet? That's what we called it, man. Halo was popular. We did a halo bomb and like it missed all the time. Stupid. But anyways, Johnny took a shit in the urinal and it was hilarious. That was one of my favorite.
Reckless, bro.
What was yours?
Oh man, I never had anything like that happen. But oh my god, one kid like smeared shit all over the locker room.
That's so gross.
That's pretty nasty. I remember the first time I got drunk. My parents were out of town. Sorry, mom and dad.
Sorry.
And my brother supervised me and my friend drinking.
Nice.
I'm ratting you out now. It's been a minute.
It's long enough.
Yeah, I don't
We're all
think you're gonna
adults
get in
now.
trouble.
You're grounded, Mark.
But anyways, I was sleeping and my friend was sleeping above me. Not above me. Like I was on the floor on an air mattress. He was on the couch. So he was above me. And I hear like pissing happening in the middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning. I wake up. He's just standing there pissing all over the couch. My parents, keep in mind, come home the next day.
No.
All over my basement couch. My brother, I wake him up. I go, yo. I'm not going to say his name. Pissed all over the couch.
Was it Johnny?
Nah, I'm not going to say his name because he's in jail now.
Oh, no. Ooh, sorry, bro.
And yeah, he had to go to Walmart at like 4 in the morning.
Get one of those like steam vacs.
Clean the couch. We had to air it out the next day till my parents got home. They never knew, and now they know. So there you go. That's my funny high school memory.
That's so interesting. Did you ever get caught for anything like that?
Did I ever get caught?
Yeah.
I mean, my roommate in college pissed all over the couch all the time. It was like a weekly occurrence.
Why'd you let him continue being your roommate?
What am I supposed to do?
He's urinating on your couch. Kick him
It was
out.
his couch.
What? Kick him
was
out
his
anyways.
futon.
Oh, it's so gross. Did it just constantly smell like urine in your place?
Yeah, he would. When he got drunk, he would just piss.
That's so gross.
Piss in the corner.
Did you sit on that couch?
Yeah, I was. One night,
When it
my
dried
friend,
out?
his sister was sleeping on the couch one night, and he started to pee on her. What is it with drunk people and pissing on people?
I don't know. Yo, speaking of peeing random places, what? No, I as a kid, I used to sleepwalk every once in a while, and so like I stayed at my uncle and aunt's house, and apparently I walked to their closet and opened the door as if it was the bathroom, and my aunt thankfully like stopped me just before I'd started peeing all over the place. She like walked me to the bathroom, and I waited for her to close the door apparently, and I peed in the toilet, thankfully.
Yeah.
But
Peeing in your sleep's a real problem.
it's a real problem these days.
So speaking of peeing in your sleep,
Go on.
you can compete in the Challenger games. Literally,
As a matter of fact,
literally has nothing to do with it.
I plan on peeing during the Challenger games at
Yeah?
some point, probably in a bathroom.
Just running the 100-meter dash, you whip
Just-
out your.
Yeah,
You're
that's-
chasing the pee.
That's clickbait.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll clickbait the clickbait.
Yeah.
Dude, let's pee all over the Challenger games.
We're pissing on the Challenger games. We're actually going to be on the same team, I think. We're doing the
Yeah.
4x100 meter relay.
Yep.
I'm also doing like the 400 meter dash. I
Are
think
you doing
that's
that
2
one?
laps. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that one.
Or no, is that 4 laps or is it 2?
No, I think 2. 2
Oh,
laps.
okay.
I'm doing that one. Or maybe I'm doing the 800. I think yeah,
Jeez,
because
okay.
1600 is a mile. I'm doing the 400 meters. So that's only 1 lap.
That's pretty good.
Oh, I could win that
That's dope.
because I got long legs, and that's
Do you
just
have
a
good-
dead sprint, 1 lap. Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, that's stamina. I'm doing that one, the tug of war. I don't know if I'm doing something. What I text?
The 4x100,
Uh-huh.
the tug of war, and
Some other race. I
Oh,
wanted
you
to
are?
pole vault, but I have 0 experience in that.
Are you fast?
Yeah.
So we got me and you.
Yeah.
I wonder who the other 2 people are on our team.
We gotta find somebody. Yo,
You're
are there-
6'5",
6'4".
6'4". I'm 6'3".
I'm 6'2", casting directors. You watching? 6'2".
I'm 5'11", casting directors. You know what's funny? I used to be loud and proud. Like every
Yeah.
time I would do a self tape, it'd be like 6'3".
Yeah.
And
Until somebody
it's
called
not
you
a good
out.
idea to be
No.
tall when you're an actor. So you
No.
want to lie in the tapes and say you're like 6'1".
Yeah. If you're Tom Cruise, you can say you're taller than you are. But
Yeah.
if you're actually 6'4", you're 6'2" from here on out.
Right.
That's it.
They don't want tall people because you're not normal height and you just tower over everyone on camera.
It's great if you're a superhero, though.
Yeah.
That's what we should be going out for.
Is it
Superheroes.
Chris Hemsworth or Liam? Which one's the superhero? Isn't he huge?
Chris
Isn't he like
is
6'6" or something?
6'4".
6'4"?
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
We'd all
I'm
be
just
making eye
shit up.
contact with. God, those Hemsworth brothers are so dreamy. All of them.
Go, hey, mate.
Right.
Let's put another
Look
shrimp
at her
on
in the back.
barbie.
Get that. Look at. Oh my
Trisha said
goodness.
she loves Liam.
She's
What's the
in love.
difference? They're both the same.
Oh.
Anyways, guys, I appreciate you listening to me vent on this episode of the Poolman Show.
Tuman.
It was good to talk, bro, and
was
I hope
fun.
your brain gets better.
Yeah, sames. That'd be great.
I know we joke about it, but I'm seriously concerned.
Yeah, no, jokes lighten up the mood. It's getting better. It's a lot better. I can actually have a conversation. So that's a huge improvement
Yeah, and we lasted the whole entire episode
without
with
peeing.
keeping you on the chair.
Yeah. I didn't
So,
black out.
Thanks for filling in for George.
Yeah.
Like I said, he wasn't here because he was busy. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we can get him on the payroll and get him here next week for the Poolman Show. Don't forget to submit your questions. I have a few ready for him and I next week. dohnzfilms@gmail.com. I'll link it down in the description so you guys can send us your voice-activated questions. We'll see you next time. And if I don't see you this week, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.